start with the prone exercises and face down exercises. We're going to do the upper thigh. We're going to do hip flexion. We're going to do arm traction with lift. That's my favorite. Okay, so upper thigh, my quad. So the quad is on the front muscles here between the knee and the upper hip here. So it attaches actually up here. So it's a two-joint muscle. So it's going to help a lot with this, and it's also going to do a lot of this. Okay, it never helps you to do this though, unfortunately. So if you're sitting a lot, that muscle shortens a lot, as well as another muscle that attaches to the spine and attaches down here. So it's one of the muscles that makes you be like this. It's not a good muscle when it's in the shortened phase, and it usually is if you're sitting all day. So this is a very, very important muscle to be stretching for your partner. So what you're going to do with the quad, if you keep the leg straight, you're going to actually stretch what's called the psoas muscle. We're not going to worry about that one today. It's a little more complicated. So we're going to keep with the quads. You're going to just bend the knee like so, and wiggle like that. So if their hip pops up right away, you know they're tight. So take the leg from this position, extended position, or mostly extended position, and to flexion, bending the knee. You can see right away he's starting to pop up his hip, or I can see he's popping up his hip. So we get into this 90 degrees. He's really going to be tight right here. Okay, so just note that of your partner. If you lift their leg up, that hip pops up, they're going to be really tight. So be sensitive to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right arm under his left leg, and I'm up against the table with my legs. And I'm just going to lift up this left leg a little bit like that. Take my right hand underneath there, and I can kind of control it as I want to. Lift it up a little bit. The legs are doing the work here. The legs are doing the work. So I'm pushing with my right leg. Okay, so I'm just pushing through my right heel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my left hand, I'm going to pin him down, not on the lower back, but right on the upper part of that hip. Okay, so I'm just going to move a little bit, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to lean. So I'm just kind of pinning his hip down to the tail. It's going to want to pop up. If I just pull up like this, his hip's going to pop up, and he's not going to get much of a stretch. Okay, so I'm kind of pin just nice and easy. Left arm on his left hip. Nice and straight. All I'm going to do is lean my body to my left. You feel that, Richard?
Yep.
Right away. So he's got more stuff than just a squat that's tight. But all we're going to do is feel for the resistance and let him relax. I'm going to relax. I can do that if I'm not bending my arm and bending over like this. I can't relax if I'm in this position. I can't relax if I'm in this position. Nice and long and extended. This is a heavy part of a person's body, so you have to make sure you're in a nice extended position. A little bit by a little bit, I'm getting a little bit of extension out of it. Actually, extension. Good. So that's the upper thigh. Let's do both sides and see if we see something different on this side. Most people, they're going to be different. Nothing is symmetrical in the human body. So right away, as I pull him up, he's already moving. He's already tight. I can feel the tension. But still, if I don't have my hand on him right here, it can pop up all day. So he's in this position. So it's a safe position. And I'm going to reach underneath here. Now he's a little far away from me, so Richard, I'm going to have you just kind of move towards me a little bit. Good. Good. Okay. So it'll make it much easier on me, especially for the females. For women, it's going to make it a little easier for partner. Is taller than you or is bigger than you, to make sure that you have the person closer to you. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to take my right hand on his right side, and I'm going to go right into that point where it's kind of upper part of his glute right in here. It's kind of soft, but then it turns into the bone called the sacrum, his hip. So we're just going to kind of push into that and make sure he's kind of pinned down. So I'm just going to, again, keep nice and long, and then I'll lean into the table. I'm just going to lean over to my right. Feel that, Richard?
Yeah, no, I do.
So try not to let the leg go in out like that. You're not getting much of a stretch. Try to rotate it back out like this if you need to. Get his knee pointed straight down towards the table. If he pops up right away abruptly, you know you've gone too far. So go down. You don't want to pop it up too hard. Feeling okay?
Sure.
You feel this in your lower back?
A little bit.
Okay, so that's where I don't want to go any farther than that.
Not too bad, though.
Okay. Another 6 inches okay with you?
Oh, yeah.
You won't be friends with me anymore. Okay, so that is upper thigh. Now, let's do our hip flexion. Bring it like this, and we're going to take this leg, and we're going to flex. So have you rotate your knee out, Richard. So, yeah, there you go. And we're going to bring that knee up to the hip, so ever so slowly. Remember, this one we take the left hand, and we're going to cradle the bottom of the foot, and we're just going to be perpendicular to the table. So we're going to be square up to the table. We're just going to move his leg or her leg up until we feel some resistance. Okay? Just going to stretch the groin in a nice, comfortable way. So be very careful with this one. You're going to stretch the quad a little bit, a lot of the groin, some of the ham in here, very little of the hamstring, but mostly it's going to be groin and thigh. Yeah, so he's starting to go a little bit, it's a little aggravated. So right about at this point, and I can keep his leg right on the table. I don't have to lift it off the table. Now, if the person is very flexible, if you get the leg up to the hip, that's where you can start coming up a little bit off the table. All right. But he feels safe just because all of his weight's on the table. He can feel the whole table. So he knows that I'm really sensitive to his boundaries. Try the other side. And then rotate your leg out. You can see right away he is popping that hip up. So if he's really flexible on the groin, his hip is going to be able to stay nice and square on the table. Okay, so just be cognizant of that. The tolerable, Richard?
Yeah, that's all right.
Nice and slow. There's nothing to be gained by overstretching somebody, especially with your partner. Remember that. Nice and easy. So if it's an adult working on a child, very careful. Your force is much greater than you realize. Or a larger person working on a smaller person. Nice. Feel like a nice stretch?
Yep.
Comfortable? All right, so now we're going to do my favorite. We're going to do arm traction with the toe. Richard, can I have you reach back with your hands? Excellent. All right, so I'm going to get up on the table, bring his legs together. So, straddle on top of the table. So my feet are right on top of the bolster. Safe for me. So if you have a bolster, use a bolster for the practitioner. We bend down on his knees. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take his hands on his wrists, not on the palms. So I'm not going to have this going on right back here. I'm not going to do this. Okay, make sure your hands are not like that. Make sure your hands are on the soft part of his wrist, the underside of his wrist. Okay, just going to reach back and lift. How's it feeling, Richard?
I feel it.
Any pain?
No.
Good. Then I'm going to stretch a little bit deeper. And I can pull like this all day. I'm not doing any work. Bring it on down. All right. Now Richard's a bigger guy, so it's a lot of force. And he didn't feel it in his lower back at all.
Not at all.
So we're getting some good traction to the shoulder, stretching out the chest, the neck a little bit, compression on the back. All his body weight is still laying on the back. This bolster helps it break that whole line of tension throughout his body.